It's that before the sun, I swear to God, I'll never back. Boy, I'll never break, I'm built for this just like a tank. You diss me once, homie, you won't get another chance. And I won't even speak a word, I'll just let it blast. I put that on the viral, homie, that I'm down to smash. And you come and test the water, see if it don't crack. And real G's never switch up, never take the stand. A real G keeps it solid, never rolls with rats. I'm true to the code, homie, never looking back. And ain't no dirt up in my name, homie, those are facts. I keep it G, homie, I don't never have to act. Ain't nothing like the suckers on the net that's spitting cats. Boosting up their name for the fame is considered crack. Look at the rim, you already knew on where I stand. With the homies posted in the viral daily packing straps. Boy, la vida loca, keep me crazy in my habitat. Death before dishonor is my code and ain't no turning back. Death before dishonor is my code and ain't no turning back.
G-File.
Alright, now it's what's good, G Life? Now right here we are in LA County once again. Right here on the northeast portion of LA County, which is known as Nella for Northeast LA. And the reason why we're here is we're gonna be starting off with first doppelganger neighborhood. And one of the oldest neighborhoods in LA. So we don't even have to ask which one came first. Obviously, this barrio came first. You know what I'm saying? Which is the barrio Dogtown Rifa, DTR. Dogtown Rifa is one of the first neighborhoods in Los Angeles. Been around since the 1800s, my boy. The 1800s. So, woo, man, this neighborhood has history already. And this is the area in which they come from. Nella's, they got their name due to that there used to be a dog pound right there, and you would just hear the dogs just like constantly barking. So that portion of town was known as Dogtown, you know what I mean? That's how everyone called it, because of all the dog barking and everything. Dog pound's not there no more, obviously, but they kept the name. You know what I mean? And that's why they're known as Dogtown. You can find them. Their neighborhood is pretty vastly large through those back ends and all of that. But their main turf is the projects right there in Nellas. The William housing projects is where you can find them. That's their domain, their dojo, where they get it on and cracking, you know what I mean? And like I said, his barrio is still active, still functioning, been around since the 1800s, one of the first neighborhoods. And like I said, so we don't even have to ask which one came first. Obviously, this one is the first one, and continues to still, strive and represent for theirs, But this is Dogtown, Rifa, right here, the projects. That's how you always see that they write projects as well. And it has no affiliation with the rest of the dog towns. And they continue to represent theirs and put theirs on the map. You know what I mean? They still be right there holding it down. All right, now right here we have the city of Gardena. Gardena is right here located deep right here in the harbor area, by Hawthorne and cities like that, you know what I mean? It's where Gardenas is located at. Gardenas is a treacherous area, you know what I mean? It has a lot of gangs, not only from Gardena, but like you have like crib sets and etc. You know what I mean? It gets on and cracking right here. You know what I mean? Don't ever sleep on these neighborhoods on this side, because man, they do get it on and popping. You know what I mean? They ain't no slouches. And the reason why we're here is because this is home to the DTS neighborhood, or the DT Dogtown, Gardena Dogtown Stoners. Gardena's Dogtown Stoners is a neighborhood that has no relations to that other Dogtown. These guys are old school as well. You know what I mean? They've been around already. Going back to the I was told so 70s, 60s. Now they used to be known as the Bell Park Stoner, and then they changed the name to Dogtown, but originally they were known as the Bell, Park Stoners, and then they had switched it to become Dogtown. I guess they just like the name suited better, you know what I mean? So the neighborhood is a lot more older in a sense because it has, that was the same hood. It just changed its name. And they went with Dogtown Stoners. So Gardena Dogtown Stoners, they wear the color green, but yes, they are sureños, you know what I mean? That's just something that, is just throughout right here, this Gardena, that's just what they do. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, they're all southern hoods. And this is the area in, throughout the back streets of the park and everything like that is where you could find, the Barrio Dogtown Stoners. This is the neighborhood in which Cujo, the Savage, this is his barrio, this is the Dogtown he's from, and it has no relation to the other Dogtown. Like I said, it's just a name that it just a lot of neighborhoods use, things like Dogtown. Like there's even Longo has a clique, called Dogtown. But yeah, that's what's up with the Dogtown right here in Gardenas, representing for theirs and holding theirs down. And now, as we make our way to Orange County, this is the first time that we're gonna have 3 of the same barrio. Well, not the same barrio because they're different barrios, but I'm meaning that the first time that it's been 3 that have the same name, same abbreviation, but have no relationships to each other. You know what I mean? Which is the Dogtown right here in Orange County in Santa Ana. You do have the Dogtown right here as well, and this Dogtown has no relations to the rest of the Dogtown. As a matter of fact, this one's the newer version of it, the newest ones, because they were only around since the 80s, mid 80s is when they started. They established themselves right there, Dogtown Rifa, exactly like the one in Nella, and their neighborhood extends right here. Their neighborhood is from Sullivan Street to Mountain Vista Avenue to what a trip, they even in Nellas they have a Mountain Vista Street, but anywho, to Center to McFadden. So everything that's in the middle, throughout Diamond, throughout Golden, Golden West, Caban, all of that is by the church too, close to the church, by Brook almost too. That is what's known as the Dogtown Barrio. A little small chunk of territory, not that large, but nonetheless, that's the area which they roam around and hold it down. You know what I mean? Like I said, they started since the 80s, and they have no relations to the other Dogtowns. It's just, you know what I mean? That's just a name that people just like using. You know what I mean? It's a Dogtown thing, what can I say? But yeah, that's what's up with the Dogtown Santa Anas, right there representing in Orange County and holding it down for theirs. Now, as we make our way to the Boyle Heights area, right here, County of LA, Boyle Heights, which referred to as the East Side, not East LA, but the East Side. And the reason why we're here is the next set of doppelganger neighborhoods. And this one, I also do know that this one was the one that came first. You know what I mean? Due to how old school these barrios are in this side of LA County, and the history behind the area and all of that. You know what I mean? Everybody does recognize Boyle Heights, East LA being the area where gangbanging capital as well. Some of the areas where, some of the oldest barrios, come from. Some of them, not the oldest, some of them. And the old barrio that we have right here is the Barrio Evergreen. Barrio Evergreen is an old school barrio already in this side. Evergreen has already been right here since the 1930s, my boy. Since the 1930s, homie, they've been right here. I don't know about you guys, but that's a long, long time. You know what I mean? And they with the business, homie. Now, their territory is from Indiana to east of 4th Street. From 4th Street, I would have to say it extends all the way to Soto. From Soto, it would have to go all the way to 1st Street. So what's from 1st to Indiana to 4th to Soto. So everything that's in the middle, which is not that much, chunk of territory, but still, nonetheless, it's decent in size, and it's jam packed full of neighborhoods right here, homie. Like, I mean, jam packed. You have East LA Dudes, you have MC4s, you have Breed, you have Tiny Boys, you have Wifins, you have Little East Side. You have everybody right here. It's the heart of the danger zone, and so Evergreen's right here in the mix, you know what I mean? On Evergreen, obviously that's the reason why it's named Evergreen, because it's on Evergreen Avenue. On Evergreen Avenue in 2nd, it's probably like, where you can find the main domain, the dojo by the parque. You know what I mean? That's where you can find them, doing their thing, and have been doing their thing since the 1930s. You know what I mean? And even though they're not as large as they used to be, they're still around, homie, and they still do their thing. Don't ever sleep on homies. You know what I mean? All it takes is for them to catch you once, and that's it, homie. These guys are not playing, homie. I know some writers out of Evergreen. You know what I mean? Like my homie Lefty. That's right. And he'll put it down. But Evergreen's with the business, homie, and they're the originator out of the doppelgangers. They came first, being that they're from the 1930s. So already old school barrio. You know what I mean? Well represented. Still active with the business, and continue to do so. You know what I mean? But that's what's up with the barrio Evergreen right there. And as now we make our way deep down back to Santa Ana, all the way down. You know what I mean? By Del Heights, close to Del Heights, is where we can find the next doppelganger neighborhood. Is located right here in Santa Ana, and that is the barrio Evergreen Locotes. So it's written the same. It turns out that there's also a street right here named Evergreen, so that's the barrio decided to name itself after the street right here. Like I said, it just happens to be a coincidence that the streets just happen to be the same name, and that's where neighborhoods landed. You know what I mean? It's just one of those, it's one of those cases like Lowell Street is a trip like that. You know what I mean? Like the coincidence, because they have nothing in common. They have no ties to each other, nothing like that. As a matter of fact, this Evergreen Locotes came, a while, years later. You know what I mean? They have only been around since late 80s, early 90s, at least that's what I was told. You know what I mean? Evergreen Locotes is really active. They do have a lot of members. They do get it on and cracking. You do see the activity by these guys. People can't even say you don't. You know what I mean? They got their territory on lockdown, even though it may not be much of territory because of the Del Height neighborhood being a lot more older, a lot more larger, being the dominant neighborhood on that side. And their neighborhood is literally like right there, like they have to share turfs with them. You know what I mean? Because the Evergreens barrio is from Cedar Street to Edinger, and from Edinger I would have to probably say that the neighborhood extends towards Standard Avenue, and from Standard Avenue I would have to say all the way to where St. Andrew's at. So everything that's in the middle is what's considered their barrio. Throughout Evergreen Street is where you can find them. On that street is, in those apartments, all those, homes around just in that street. Like I said, it's a very small chunk of territory, but for being a small chunk of territory, don't get it twisted. They do have numbers. They are active, and they ain't no suckers. You know what I mean? Like there's much larger neighborhoods around them, and they continue standing. You know what I mean? And holding their own. You know what I mean? Testing the strength of time. They haven't fallen off. They're still there, and they still continue to put theirs on the map for that barrio Evergreen Locotes, and they still hold it down for theirs. You know what I mean? But that's what's up with this Evergreen Locotes. It said that this one just writes it Locotes, so it's like Locotes. That's the only thing difference that they have. But they're both spelled the same and everything. It's Evergreen. It's just that this one puts Locotes. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's what's up with this Evergreen, and they still hold it down. And another neighborhood that's right here within Orange County, we're just might as well stay right here since we're already here. You have another neighborhood that I think that there's more out there than the two doppelgangers that I'm gonna cover right now. I'm not really sure if there's more out there. I'm gonna have to say that there is, just because this name is just such a common name that's used. As a matter of fact, in the area where I come from, I remember there being two crews that had the similar name to that. There was a Wicked Minded Kings, and then there was a Wicked Minded Locos. So Wicked Minds is just something that a lot of cliques are named Wicked Minds. A lot of crews named Wicked Minds. It's just something that's commonly used. You know what I mean? A lot of people use that phrase and saying. But right here, we have one that, represents it, for the homeboys, for the Sur. And, they come out of right here, out of Orange County. Now, this neighborhood has different locations in which it's at. You know what I mean? It has several spots right here in Orange County, from Fullerton to Anaheim, from Anaheim to Santa Ana. They just expanded. You know what I mean? They're drifters now in Fullerton over here. Where their neighborhood's at is close to the Tapas Elementary School. So their territory is literally from what's Madison to La Placenta, all the way to Yorba Linda Boulevard, all the way to Brantford Avenue. So what's in the middle is considered their territory. You know what I mean? Throughout those ends, what's considered, Sepincer. I think that's how you say it. I think I butchered that street. It has a complicated name. From Quince Lane to Pearl Drive to Garnett. All of that. All of that is what's considered a barrio. Right here. And, representing for the Wicked Minds is Wicked Minds Fullerton. That's how you see them write it. You know what I mean? And then you also see them up as, Anaheim Wicked Minds. I also seen it up like that. And then their other location, within Orange County, like I said, they have just, several spots in where they just do their thing. You know what I mean? How they work is pretty much just like wherever they land, they set up, they represent, homie. You know what I mean? Like I said, sometimes it's not about, the actual terrain. I mean, homies are going to represent, wherever they land, they're going to hold it down. You know what I mean? That's just how it is, and they maintain it as such. And Wicked Minds is no different. You know what I mean? Right here in Santa Ana, you know what I mean? They also, are with the business and be representing. Yeah, and also right here where you can find them, it's Gilbert to Lamson, all the way to I would have to say it goes all the way to Brookhurst. I would have to say all the way to Garden Grove. That's what's considered their neighborhood by Stanford. That so through those back ends is where you can find also the Wicked Minds, lurking around and doing their thing. You know what I mean? Now, they're not that large, even though they're spread out in different cities, they're not that large, they're roughly more smaller. Don't have any connections with the rest of the Wicked Minds, you know what I mean? Just the ones right here in Orange County. And, like I said, they may not be large as some of these other neighborhoods, you know what I mean? Because they're not that old school, only have been around since late 80s, early 90s. Now, I don't know if it's true or not, but they said that it was a crew first that transitioned to a neighborhood. I got to ask that question. But what I could say is that, yeah, they're still right here. They hold it down and, they represent theirs. But that's what's up with the Wicked Minds. And now off to the Doppelgangers neighborhood. For that, we would have to make our way over here to the Inland Empire to Riverside. Because this is going to be the next place where we find the Doppelganger neighborhood. You know what I mean? And we'll be traveling to the south side of Riverside, to be exact. You know what I mean? The south side of Riverside is gang infested. You know what I mean? It's probably the area in Riverside where it's like the most neighborhoods are at. Are located. It gets treacherous right here. You have so many different neighborhoods. You know what I mean? Just condensed in just one area. You're gonna get tensions and frictions between sets. That's just how it goes. You know what I mean? when you have an gang infested, overpopulated areas. It's pretty much how. So yeah, the Wicked Minds neighborhood be over here by the Challenge Park. Challenge Park being like the area where they hang out, to do their thing at the parque. You know what I mean? It'd be treacherous right there in that area. You know what I mean? Throughout those back streets and all of that. It gets on and cracking. And this Wicked Minds, was a crew that became a neighborhood. You know what I mean? They do claim the south side of, Riverside, due to the fact that, well, they are on the south side of Riverside. And they haven't been around that long, since the 90s, mid-90s, when they were established, you know what I mean? And they worked their way up. So they're freshly new when it comes to, like, this, but their crew had been around already. But like I said, don't ever get it twisted, just because, people think that they recruited before that they whack. Nah, homie, these fools will get it on and cracking, homie. They'll lay you out. You know what I mean? The Wicked Minds, they ain't playing, dog. They live up to their name, Wicked in the Mind. And like I said, they have no connection to the other Wicked Minds. It's just like I said, just a common name that will probably be, heard, more times again right here. Now, it's one of these cases where they say they're the oldest, and then the others say they're the oldest. So, take that from what you want out of it. I would have to think that from what I was being told, it sounded like the ones from Anaheim came before the ones from Riverside, just based on the time frames that I was being told. I'm gonna have to go ahead and say it sounds like the Anaheim ones came first, but like I said, I'm not sure. You know what I mean? But yeah, they have nothing in common with each other. Just happen to have the same similar name, and we'll probably end up seeing another Wicked Minds on here that with that title. But that's what's up with this Riverside Wicked Minds, Southside Riva Wicked Minds gang, representing for them and holding theirs down and putting theirs on the map.